A new movie is soon to hit theaters, and early reviews suggest it is picking up where The Passion of the Christ left off. Risen tells the story of Jesus' crucifixion through the eyes of a Roman military officer who is on a mission to prove the resurrection didn't happen. The star of the film, Joseph Fiennes, is sitting down with us for this week's Studio 5.
It's beyond us.
Spare me the riddles and zealot babble. Where did you take Yeshua? Is he a goblin? A sprite? Alive again somehow?
Open your heart and see.
I see delusion.
It doesn't matter.
A martyr.
No,
Then give me the others and I'll grant you freedom.
I'm already free.
So, how do you get into the mind of Clavius?
To get into the mind of Clavius, I think it requires steeping yourself a little bit in Roman history. And I read several books, what it was to be a tribune, what a tribune meant, what were their duties. Because I felt that a big attraction for me was the way his mind worked. But what I found, to get to his mind, I found that I had to take a physical route. He's a man of war. He's in the industry of death, really. I mean, he's had a long career, and it's culminated in being a military tribune in Judea. And Judea, for a lot of those Roman soldiers, was the last place on earth you ever wanted to get posted. Full of insurgents, full of sort of war every day. And so I went to, we spoke about this earlier, I went to gladiator school in Rome. And,
How long did you stay in Gladiator?
I stayed long enough to never want to go back. No, I spent a good part of a week working with a brilliant set of guys, and what I learned from a military standpoint, really for me, was the way into the way the man was conditioned and the way that he thought. And that was really the beginning of the prep.
So you put your body through the ringer, too?
I did, and I'm still suffering from it.
Oh no, what's still hurting?
Well, sort of odd, muscles pulled and things like that.
Wow. So I know it was a physical journey for you. Was it also emotional?
Yes, it was emotional. We had a wonderful team of actors, and they were all very present and dedicated to the narrative. And it was all, like any great narrative and any great movie, it's about relationships. I think your average good actor gets that and knows it and preps accordingly. So the disciples as a group of actors were incredibly bonded. They were a unit and a family. And I was very much polarized and outside of that. But when I got invited into the group, it was kind of like the arc of the film was pretty much the arc of my existence with them. I wouldn't have contact with them until we had kind of made those scenes where I had contact. So that became quite emotional, that journey. Being a part of the group was great, and I longed to do the scenes with the disciples than I did sort of having to be a Roman and fight all the time. But in particular, I remember the scene with Yeshua, where Clavius, you're not quite sure if it's a dream sequence or it's happening for real, but he's perched up on a rock and they're in the desert walking to Galilee. And he sees this vision of Christ, and he goes to him. And I hadn't spoken to Cliff Curtis, who plays Jesus, who does a marvelous job. We never had contact, eye contact, vocal contact, anything at all, for nearly best part of 2.5 months. And then we got to do that scene. And somehow that separation, and we always knew we'd get to make contact, and we'd in our own ways prepped and probably built up a kind of our inner lives and stories and what these relationships and characters meant to each other. So when we came to film that, it was a powerful experience.
I, seeing it, felt it. Whose decision was it that you're not going to speak and this is going to be the first meeting?
That really came, I think, from the actors. I think Cliff had prepped in his way, which is personal to him, and the same for myself and others. And Kevin Reynolds, who's done an extraordinary job, our director, I think really built a set which was dedicated to the actors, going with their methodology, and that paid off.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It was an honor.